you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are these things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. For 16 years and over 3,000 episodes, we've been bringing the Chris Voss Show. We are the oldest broadcasting podcast out of a handful of old podcasts that are still broadcasting daily. Most have kind of given up, or they just broadcast here and there, but we are the oldest that's still alive and kicking as hard as we can. So support the show. Go to goodreads.com, Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com, Chris Voss, YouTube.com, Chris Voss, and Facebook.com, Chris Voss.
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind.
Today, amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking about his insights, his book, and some of his journey that he's going to share with you so you can maybe help live your life in a great way from his advice and his counsel, etc., etc. His book is entitled To Then and Back Again, a memoir, part 1, a collection of uh-ohs, no-nos, and a few OMG'S. Jerry Bryson McMillan joins us on the show. We're going to get into it with him, find out all of his deets and all that good stuff. He attended high school in Solomon, Kansas, and later earned both his undergraduate and graduate degrees from Kansas State University. He's a confirmed bachelor and has never been married. There's two of us now on the show. Although he first considered writing a book well in his 30s, he did not begin the actual process of writing until he was in his 50s. Sometimes that's the best time to start. Reflecting on his literary journey, he acknowledges that writing about his experiences with Jim was very difficult. We'll find out who that is. And he felt the only way to confront and release the emotional burden he had remained with him for many years. Today, Jerry lives with his best friend Sherry while contemplating the possibility of establishing a place of his own. At the same time, he is embarking on the next chapter of his writing career by beginning work on part 2 of his book. Welcome to the show, Jerry. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. How are you?
I am excellent. Give us .com's website, social media. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
As far as the book goes?
Yeah.
Just pretty much any bookstore you look at online, you'll find it. Barnes and Nobles, and so on and so forth.
So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside your book.
The book has a lot to do with just my life growing up as a kid and things that happened during that time. Some good, some okay, and a few that might be not good at all. In fact, at all. Yeah, I had a pretty good childhood, but, you know, when you're a kid and you're in a small town, you think everything's innocent and peaceful and quiet and all that, but, you know, you just don't know, I guess you could say.
You have to find out, as they say.
And hopefully not the way I did.
We all make these mistakes in life, and it's great that we share these stories with each other so that we can learn from each other and maybe grow or identify things that we haven't dealt with as well. Now, we mentioned someone named Jim, I think, in the bio. Do you want to give us a lowdown on how he fits in the book?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jim. Yeah, he's there. He was friends with my mom and dad in the Army. My dad was in the Air Force at some meeting or whatever, and he became friends with the family. And during that time, he came out, you know, he was at the house one day, and I was probably, I can't remember how old, probably 13, and he needed somebody to mow his yard. And I was standing there, I said, hey, I'll do it if you pay me money. So he's going to pay me some money, and I jumped on it, and I get over there, and I'm mowing his yard and everything, and in the middle of it, when I got done mowing, I went in to collect my money, and that's the point in time that my whole life changed. And I'm not going to explain it on your broadcast here, but it's a horrendous thing. for any child to go through. But when you go through something like that, you come out the other side hating the world and hating yourself and hating everybody and everything. But you got to work through it.
Yeah. So you experienced some trauma, probably
Yeah.
big T trauma when you were a kid, and you're not equipped usually at that age to understand these things, to deal with them. That's the biggest thing about childhood trauma. Did it come an ongoing thing, or was it just a single incident?
Single incident. I wouldn't
And
go near the house, but my mom did. When she asked why, because something like that happens to somebody at that age, they act differently, and my mom knew, but I wasn't giving that up for nothing.
yeah.
I ain't telling nobody that kind of
Yeah.
crap.
And
And
so did you keep this inside then? You didn't tell anybody about it at the
you got to
time?
read the book on that. I can't
Okay.
sit here and
All
tell
right.
you the whole
Sure. We don't want to
story
give
as
away
it
the
goes, but
book. They got to buy it.
they got to buy the book.
Yeah, that's what we always say. But see, I mean, so there's some issues there. Now, let me ask you this, because this is really important about trauma. And some people, when trauma happens to them, they kind of become stunned because they can't understand it. They can't comprehend it. We're very young. We're not developed. We don't understand these things. And sometimes people will block that off. And in later in life, their brain will be like, I think you can maybe handle this now. Did you block it out, or did you immediately knew there was a problem with what had happened to you?
Okay, so there came a point in time, and within a month of that
Mhm.
happening, I would have killed him. If
Mm.
I had the chance, I would have killed the man. I would have
Wow.
absolutely. And I seen him. I was walking out of my house. I lived right around the corner, probably a block and a half away. And he had a little red Volkswagen Bug.
Mhm.
And I seen him turn off his street coming toward what we call Old 40, which is the old Interstate 40 off. And I seen the red car pulling out, turning my way, and because I was walking to a friend's house, and I seen that, and I ran inside the house, my house, off Old 40 and Willow Street there in Solomon, Kansas. And I don't know, I picked up something, I can't remember what it was, because I thought he was coming back to my house.
Oh,
And yeah,
you're like, I'm
and
defending myself. This isn't going to happen again.
I'm getting ready to kill this dude. He comes near me again. He's seen me running out of the house with whatever I had in my hand, like a bat or something,
Mhm.
and he just rolled onto Old 40 there and headed out toward Abilene, Kansas. And I just started chasing him. And the
Mm.
closer I got to the car, he just never really took off. He just kept ahead of me. Coming down the highway or something, and he took off, and I just doubled over and because I was exhausted. And it was only maybe a block or two that I chased him,
Yeah.
but my mom did ask something, which was profound in a way, because of the way I was acting after that. She asked me if anything had happened over there, and of course I'm not giving something like that up. That
Mhm.
that that's shame.
Yeah.
I felt nothing less than shameful about it. And
I think you broke up a little bit.
there we go.
Jerry, you're back.
There we go. You're back.
You said you were talking about your mom and saying something about the shamefulness of telling her what it was. Did you go to the police at all? Or,
No. I was ashamed. I
yeah.
was ashamed to know what she would have done. She would have went over there and okay, are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, if you can, do you know how to close all the background apps on your phone?
I can. I
Yeah,
don't know.
if you, is it an iPhone?
It is.
That's the first problem. They were really trash. You're calling on a Chrome browser, aren't you? I don't think you can get in on their Safari. So let's move forward. I asked you if you considered going to the police, and you were answering me at that time.
No, I wasn't letting anybody know. There was no way that was going to happen because I was too ashamed of what happened. But the way that I was moping around for the week after that happened and how I felt and everything, my mom knew something was wrong. And she actually asked me pointedly, "Did Jim do something to you?" And no, I was denying anything. No, he didn't do anything. Nothing's wrong, yada, yada, yada. Had I told her that he had done something, that notoriety would have been the least adjective or whatever you want to call that concerning what she would have done to him.
Yeah.
And the last time I seen him, I was walking out of the house and I seen him pull off the road that he lived on, coming toward Old 40, which is a highway I lived on in Solomon, Kansas. And I ran in the house and I got a bat.
Now, I think we got this
And
part
I
of the
ran
story,
out.
didn't we? Oh, this is a
Oh, did
different.
we? I'm
Is
sorry.
this a different time?
No. This
Okay.
is the same time all that happened. I'm sorry. I didn't know you. I said it, but I didn't know if you got that or not.
Yeah, we got
But
you chasing down the car.
Yeah, I did. And from that point on, I'd never seen him again. I think he
Wow.
moved. Yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunate that he was never held accountable for his crimes, and it might have hurt some other people. But sadly, there was some of that going on back then a lot. Now, in the book, is this an isolated event, or do you find the trauma kind of haunt you through most of your experiences in life? And
You
sometimes
know,
unresolved trauma can have that effect.
not really. It did
Okay.
not. I have to say, I lived my life and I let that go. Pretty much when I seen him running down or rolling down the road, I it was like he was leaving me and my thoughts and my mind and all that, and I just went on being. But I did swear that if I seen him out in public, it would be not good.
Yeah. So the book's a memoir that kind of talks about your life. Is that correct then?
Yep.
And then, so you go through some experiences. What were some of the other experiences in life maybe that you can tease out a little bit before, as we go?
Just pretty much anything that happened in my life. I like my best friend committing suicide. That was a horrible thing that happened. That guy I lived with, Sherry, was his girlfriend at the time. But when something like that happens, I don't know what you could call looking for the markers or whatever when somebody's getting ready to do something like that. He had tried it one time when he was younger, and they sent him off to Topeka for a while. And then when he got back from that, seemed to be okay. And then in his 20s, he just decided to go ahead and finish the job. And that was heartbreaking
Yeah.
as well. That was really heartbreaking, having your best
Yeah.
friend do something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the signs are because I didn't see any signs.
Sometimes
And
they're really good at masking it.
he did, but he took that shotgun and put it in his mouth, and that was all she wrote.
That's hard
And
losing a best friend.
oh, it is, especially in such a traumatic way. I
Yeah.
mean, how do you deal with something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Most
There's just
definitely.
there's just no explaining, and no, you just can't.
Yeah. It's really hard. And so what was the proponent that made you want to write the book? What was the aha moment where you were like, I need to write a book about this?
that that came, and it took me a long time to write.
Really?
To start out. I worked on it in my head, and then eventually I said, I got to do this. And then I just sat down and I did it. And I can't tell you the actual date that I finished, or even the year for that matter, but I can tell you when the book was published, but that doesn't mean anything really. But I did do it.
There
And
you go.
I tell you what, I'm going to tell you, to all your listeners out there, writing is one of the best ways of getting through things.
Amen.
Just sit down and write your thoughts. It don't matter if you're writing a book or just a journal or nothing. Just write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And once you put it on paper, it takes how do I want to say it?
No time at all?
It just takes the edge off of everything.
Yeah, it really does. We talk about this a lot on the show where, we have this kind of monkey brain that we have that always beats us up and reminds us stuff we shouldn't do and knocking us over for stuff we did stupid, whatever, or regrets and things like that. And we have this monkey brain. It's designed to be helpful, but these days with so much information, all the crap we process, it can not be very helpful, and it just becomes a disturbance, and it can drive you mad. It's probably what maybe contributed to your friend, where the past, it just beats you up. And I found years ago, I used to have a problem with my ADHD that I would be up in the middle of the night thinking about all the possible things that go wrong. And the thing about that is someone said to me, they go, hey, if you want to get away from that, just start writing stuff down. Keep a pad and paper next to your bed. And it truly is cathartic and very helpful.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what's funny is I had all these stories I collected for most of my life, told a million times, and was always telling the stories. As soon as I put them in my book, I don't even remember them anymore. They're like, hey, tell us that story about that one thing, Chris. I'm like, it's in the book. You might want to go read it because I can't remember it anymore. Right. It's like, it's basically like your monkey brain goes, okay, he's written that down, so we have a record of it somewhere. And so we don't have to remember it all the time for him. And yeah, it's really cathartic to write stuff down. I think it can really help with people that have trauma and helping them work through their trauma, heal, deal with it, analyze it, realize the impact sometimes that it's had on stuff. Because a lot of stuff with trauma, especially big T trauma, it can really affect your whole life. It can affect the choices you make, the people you influence, your decision making. And a lot of times too, you're in fight or flight mode if you get in scenarios that seem to present the same danger. They might not be the same scenarios, but if you get with someone who's dishonest, sketchy, maybe your alarm bells start going off, right? And it affects you. And sometimes that can be a true signal. Sometimes that can be a false alarm. And here you're in fight or flight mode. And it can create anxieties and OCD, ADHD. A lot of HD sometimes comes from trauma in youth because people are trying to be overly active to make sure what happened to them doesn't happen again. Right? Correct. Yeah. I agree. So it can be really helpful. I mean, I think book writing is great for everyone. Everyone should probably write down their memoir. Maybe they should start early too, so they can think about, maybe I should do things better than what I was doing so far, or something. I don't know. But when you get older, it's about when you're 50, you start waking up to a lot of things in your social aspect. I think it's because you kind of lose that breeding, chase girls, chase boys thing. Yeah. And you start growing up, you start looking at your life. And then, of course, once you turn about 50, you can kind of look back in your life. You can kind of see some patterns there. Yeah. Sometimes you can see the wreckage behind you. You can see the things you did right. It becomes real obvious. Yes, and by then you know who your friends are. I mean, you really you've made that. It's congealed to the point where it's done, and so by then you know who your friends are, and who you can talk to and who you can't, and what you can talk to them about and what you can't. That's true. And was this the first time you writing this book? Was this the first time you talked to anybody about your childhood trauma experience? Yeah. Wow. Okay. So that's one hell of a therapist you got there.
I'm telling you, brother.
At least you got it out. And I saw there was a show about Michael Jackson called Leaving Neverland. It was two young boys who said they were molested by Michael Jackson. And near as I can tell from everything I know about male childhood trauma and sexual assault, I'm pretty sure I'd put money that they were not lying. If you're a fan of Michael Jackson, then that's your problem. Fans of Michael Jackson hate me when I say that, but I was the one, and never mind. I was the one to be Michael Jackson. So at the end of it, Oprah is interviewing the two of them post the movie premiere on TV, and there's a police officer, or there's a big guy, and he's an NFL player, or he used to be an NFL player, huge, big guy, and he gets up, and he talks about how when he was young, he was assaulted by a police officer. And police officers are supposed to be the people you could trust. Right. And he kept that sexual assault with him privately all of his life. And he started having lots of problems, drugs, drinking, getting along with people, acting out and things. And what he didn't realize until someone pointed out to him is that he was holding, I think he sought therapy or something, that he was holding this poison inside him. And he said, that's exactly what it is. It's like a poison. And you're brewing with hate and anger and the issues that come from it. And he goes, until you talk to somebody, until you get it out, it's kind of like that rattlesnake bite. You got to suck out the poison until you can get that poison out. It's just going to fester in there. And sometimes it's just the simplest thing of telling someone else and getting it out.
But know, I got to say, I'm going to interject here.
Sure.
I agree 100%. I do. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you, the way I felt after that happened, it was so shameful, such a horrible thing to happen. I didn't want anybody to know it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't probably, it had to be 15 maybe when I started writing the book. But no, I think I've told people before that. But it's just it's how do I want to say it? It's so embarrassing. But that's not the word I'm trying. You know what I'm trying to find here?
Shameful?
Shameful. Absolutely.
Shame. Yeah. Because, at that age, you don't want your schoolmates finding out because they'll probably tease you to death and stuff. But it's great that you've put this in the book and you've been able to tell your story. And sometimes that's the best part is you get to tell your story. You get to speak your truth finally and let people know. And come what may, come whatever. And the surprising thing about you sharing your story that surprises a lot of authors is they find that there's a lot of people that will come to their story and identify with the issues they were having, maybe in different ways too, and they'll be able to get closure maybe on their trauma or how to deal with it. You've given people a blueprint on how to come out of this, and here you are. Tell us about book 2. When is that coming out?
I'm getting started on it. I actually, and this is no lie, I've been thinking about it. What I need to do is first, I need to write down the chapters and what I'm going to put in, or what the chapters are going to be, because I've had a pretty interesting life all my life.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot to go in there. I just want to think about what story I got to put in there, because I don't want to. You just don't want to write everything. You want to pick and choose. And some of them you may think are better than the others or worse than the others, but that's not how you look at it. It's like, what am I going to, with this story, what am I going to tell somebody? What are they going to learn from it? What are they going to get from it? Am I going to get something off my chest to make me feel better? Or am I going to get something out there that makes somebody else feel better? And really, it takes a minute. I think it takes almost as much time to figure out what you're going to put in as it is to write what you're putting in. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at now. I've got like 30 possibilities down, and I don't want to really say what they're about, because I don't know. I don't want to say I've got this and this and this, and then not put that out there. But pretty much my life has been pretty interesting from day one, or the day that I knew who I was, till now. And so if you liked the first book, I think you'll like the second book as well.
And do you have an anticipated release date for it?
And I would give it probably the first of 27. It'll come out.
We'll look forward to that. As we go out, give people a final pitch out to order up your book and all that good stuff. Any .coms, websites, social media, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
It's everywhere. Anywhere you look that has a book to sell, you can find it. So, To Then and Back Again, collection of O's, oh no's, and I made what? I don't even remember what I wrote. Let me look here. And a few OMG'S.
Yep. Pick it up, folks, wherever fine books are sold. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, Jerry.
Hey, sir, I appreciate you talking to me.
Thank you. And thanks, Arnett, for tuning in. Order up his book wherever fine books are sold. That way you can take advantage of them and all that good stuff. And thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. To Then and Back Again, a memoir part 1, a collection of oh-nos, no-nos, and a few OMGs. Be good to each other, folks. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.